Hello and welcome back to Slim Bits. Today we'll be talking about KILLROY episode 13, which I believe was intended to be the season 2 premiere episode. This episode is quite unique in a number of ways, and I'll just jump right into it. So we open here with a cold open where KILLROY has tracked down Captain Clown, the Joker-esque villain who got away from him in one of the episodes from last season. This is just sort of my way of tying up a loose end and showing that KILLROY always gets his man. Yeah, I always kind of wish I did more cold opens, because I had a lot of ideas for villains and I never quite could figure out an entire storyline or entire episode to kind of wrap their gimmick around. So having a lot of cold opens for each episode probably would have gone a long way for me to give a lot more coverage to my villains. But yeah, as it were, that's KILLROY taking down Captain Clown. Wonderfully voiced by my friend Zach, who's voiced a number of characters throughout the series. So, as this is the Season 2 premiere, there's a small little recap on KILLROY and his exploits and just who he is, even though I kind of guarantee that most people who are already watching the show already know who KILLROY is and what his shtick is. But yeah, let's see, I'm just padding the length here until we get to talk about Superhero, who is the sort of the major new character who is introduced this season. I always kind of like that Gritty City was founded by bootleggers and criminals, and they're kind of proud of their criminal heritage. Oh yeah, and the mayor is just he starts to get a little more dim in this season, just culminating in him being an absolute moron by the end. Oh yeah, this craft brew festival features one of my more favorite background gags, where the Irish bartender Patrick is selling a lot of alcohol based on bands and little beer puns. If you can't tell by now, I'm a sucker for coming up with puns. So born in the IPA for Brew's Springsteen, or Lush Limelight. That's just a little nod to classic rock there, a little nod to craft brew festivals there. So Drunk Tank here is wonderfully voiced by my friend Joel. I just asked him, hey, do you want to voice a character? He's essentially my version of Bane. The drunker he gets, the larger and stronger and more indestructible he becomes. I gave him the script and told him just have fun with it. He actually messaged me and said, should I be having some beer while I record? I said, that's not necessary, but whatever helps your process. So those belches and those laborious groans of his, that's all natural. That is Joel just being the consummate method actor that he is. Okay, so here we are introduced to Superhero. Our quite obviously our Superman stand-in character, where I kind of cram in as many nods to superhero origins as I can, just to kind of hammer home that unlike KILLROY, this is the guy who has superpowers. This is the guy who is really, really good at the superheroing gig. Obviously modeled after Superman. Probably not much of a huge confession for those who know me personally. Superman is genuinely my favorite superhero. I think he's a fascinating character. I think he's a great character when written properly. But I can kind of see where a lot of the criticism comes from when people say oh, he's a very boring character, oh, he's very generic, oh, he's too overpowered. So Superhero was written to be Superman's stand-in for those who don't like Superman, or sort of just hammering home all the things that people hate about Superman. And, who better to do that than someone who actually does like the character? So it kind of gave me an opportunity to sort of lean into to some of those just it's so irritating and how goody two-shoes and how perfect he is. Superhero is voiced by my friend Jim, who voiced Killjoy in one of an earlier episodes. He, like myself, is a fellow Superman fan. So when I told him that, yeah, we want to go for like the just so irritatingly good, I think he got it instantly. Like it takes one Superman fan to another just to kind of appreciate this is the Superman for people who don't like Superman. And okay, yeah, I get you. I can totally lean into that. Yeah, with a character like this, it was very easy for him and his, like, you know, this rivalry with Kilroy. It would be very easy for superhero to come off as like a jerk. And, you know, stories where like there's an evil Superman or a dime a dozen, and rather than just like go with that cliche, I just figured, you know what, let's go in the sense where like he is just too good, he is too heroic, he is too, you know, there's nothing interesting about him where he will be evil and that's like that'll say something about the character. No, he's just Superman, to like an irritating degree, and only Kilroy seems to have a problem with it. Mud Dug, yeah, or my Clayface or Sandman stand-in, you know, like. You know, that's just another one of those, like, you know, classic comic book villains that, you know, needed to be referenced in a Kilroy series. Oh, yes, and Hero Team, you know, with the slogan Justice for All, which I'm actually kind of proud of. Yeah, the idea of, like, having, like, a Justice League, Avengers superhero team up just sort of seemed like a natural fit when I said, okay, well, in addition to Kilroy, there's going to be a guy with genuine superpowers, and, you know, in this season, we're going to actually introduce sort of like the subplot of there being this superhero team full of proactive, effective heroes. And, yeah, Kilroy just has to contend with being, you know, not the only game in town, and in fact, quite possibly the lamest name in town. Yeah, it was kind of fun coming up with little stand-ins for, like, you know, who would be our Batman, who would be our Flash. The other members of Hero Team who don't have much characteristics in the show. There's City Knight, who's our Batman stand-in. There's Energina, who's sort of Green Lantern meets Wonder Woman. Speed Demon, who's obviously our Flash, our Speedster. And Blue Bowman, you know, who's like our Green Arrow, but he's the Blue Bowman. That's pretty clever writing on my part, I must say. You know what's funny? Like, you know, like he kind of just jumps off the screen here with you know, with the blue palette there. But honestly, like, you know, when people ask me, oh, how'd you get him to look blue like that? Honestly, like, I just used a blue paint on him. Like, it's a lot harder to make things in black and white stay black and white and kind of pop on its own. So for Blue Bowman, I just decided to use like regular color scheme. So yeah, like the general premise here is that Hero Team wants Kilroy to join their heroing team only as sort of a like diversity hire, like he's their token guy without superpowers, which Kilroy takes offense to. Personally, I don't necessarily have a problem with, like, you know, hiring for the sake of diversity, because, you know, that's just the reality in the world that we live in. But I kind of wanted to write, oh, you know, Kilroy's, he's got a problem with it because he feels like he's not taken as seriously as some of the, you know, the more effective and powerful heroes. So yeah, that was episode 13 of Kilroy. You know, this season promised to be bigger and more badass than the last, and you know, I think it certainly starts it off on a different tone, because we had all principal main character cast members. We had the largest voice cast of any episode to date, and yeah, we introduced like a new through line for this through the series. Anyways, thanks for watching. I hope you found this interesting. And stay tuned for more Slim Bits. Bye!